Hi guys, so you are with Lara Dutta, who is Miss Universe, actor, producer, mom, and now entrepreneur.
Most importantly, mom.
Right, yeah. And you are just back from this super holiday, which gave us like a lot of guys just like, okay, summer holiday is like really good. How do you manage to wear so many different hats, like switch on, switch off, and play mommy on
So
holiday?
I think for me, I don't know, maybe as the woman that I'm wired to be, I hated ever limiting myself to any one thing. Even as a child, if people used to ask me what I wanted to be when I wanted to grow up, it was always one of three things. And I always felt that I could be all three things together. So, and there were three things that had nothing to do with each other. So they were a ballerina, an astronaut, and an archaeologist, you know.
You were like raised a multitasker.
So yes, I think I was. And I think I would be very bored if I limited myself to any one thing.
Right. And we would be so deprived because you're just doing so many enterprising things.
Thank you.
We also saw you whipping up breakfast with Saira on the holiday. So if you guys haven't seen that on the gram, then you must. So what was cooking? We know pancakes and cereal, but how do you manage to strike nutrition, growth, all of that perfect, even when it's on holiday? Because we all want to cheat on holidays.
Sure. So I think, honestly, you need to be a parent that's adaptable to your child. So in Mumbai, for example, Saira has, certain food groups that she's not allowed because it kind of lowers her immunity.
Yeah.
Mainly also because of the environment that we live in. So we're more susceptible to coughs and colds and things like that. So I mean, I hate to say this on camera, but it's what mums discuss, so things that would increase, the consistency of mucus or whatever in the body, all of that kind of food, are sort of lowered down. But on a holiday, when she's out of here, and I know she's in a different kind of environment where the same environmental factors are not impacting her, then I relax the rules. So she knows that she's allowed, maybe a couple of more ice creams if she's traveling, or she's allowed a little bit more cheese on her pasta, which essentially over here I try and otherwise cut back on and control. So she knows that if she's good here, that she will be rewarded later, and I think that's the key play that we try and the balance that we try to achieve.
So what's that one food that you really obsess over? Like one food that you say it has to be part of the checkbox, and one that's an absolute no-no.
So I think, like Dr. Dharani was saying today, that we don't actually get a lot of protein into our kids.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm raising a kid who has, athletic genes in her system and body, and I think it's really important. Like we've all heard so much, the stress on making sure your child gets her fruit and vegetables,
Yeah.
that you tend to ignore getting protein in. And protein doesn't necessarily have to come only from non-vegetarian options, but just ensuring that your children get, enough pulses, enough dals, enough whatever it is that they want to eat, chicken or fish into it. And I genuinely believe, the idea to also, associate with a brand like Abbott's Pediasure is, I genuinely believe that it's very, very difficult to get everything that you need your child to have just through the plate, what's on their plates every day, because that in itself is a challenge enough, to get your child to eat right and healthy. So if you have companies that have invested years of research and development into products that are providing your child with that extra, support that they need to make sure that their cognitive abilities, that their mental faculties, that their growth is absolutely right, I think that's to us an invaluable resource to have.
No, absolutely. And when you spoke of food groups, we're all living and raising our children where at the dinner table the conversation is, okay, how much carbs, how much proteins? I'm on a carb-free diet, I'm like on a low-carb diet. How do you ensure that these food biases don't creep in? Because she's constantly being subjected to that.
For sure, and that becomes a very big part of the exact charter of the Grow Right Charter, that your child at the end of the day, no matter how much advice you might give your child, will imbibe by your actions. So if you're going to be a fussy eater and you're going to constantly be talking about the fact that I'm not eating any carbs, and I'm on a keto diet and I'm on, whatever, where I'm not eating these kind of food groups, that is going to be your child's approach to food as well. So they're listening, they are absorbing, and they will act out in exactly the same way that they see their parent act out. So it's very important before you start inculcating a healthy approach to food within your child that you actually start with yourself.
Right, absolutely, right? Because we're literally their first role models, right? Also, when we speak of growth and milestones as moms and dads, we're also paranoid about meeting every milestone and we drive ourselves crazy. What does growth mean to you, and the right sort of growth?
I think for me it's really important to really tune into Saira and understand. So look, you've been given these guidelines. Your child at the age of 2 needs to be within this height statistic, this weight, whatever statistic. Their cognitive functions should be at this level. Their interaction skills, interpersonal skills should be at this level. And the fact of the matter is that you're killing all sort of creativity or all individuality in your child. Right. So it's really important as a parent, like we've said, to understand certain red flags as to when you need to be seeking professional, advice and expert advice. But at the same time, allowing your child to really grow into the person that they were always meant to become. Right. So there are a lot of times that a child might be, much shorter in terms of growth or whatever, but has this incredible physical strength. Right. In terms of an athletic level, has, is running much faster than older children, sort of within her same play group or age, whatever. So I think it's important to understand and really encourage a child rather than beating a child down to meet, specifications that we've been ingrained within ourselves to kind of expect our children to reach.
And they say comparison is the thief of all joy. How do you ensure that she's growing at the pace that is really right for her?
Like I said, you allow a child to be a child, and you look for markers where if you feel these are really something that's bothering me, like we said, if a child is falling sick more than 8 or 10 times in a year, those are the normal, and these are experts telling you. The fact that, oh my God, my child got viral 4 times this year and therefore I'm raising a child who's like so weak and has no immunity system, right, is things that we need to condition ourselves to kind of think against the grain on. Right. So again, I'm stressing, just allow your child to be the child that they're meant to be.
Right, absolutely. Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure.